Berlin's landmarks, history, culture, and vibrant nights. Imagine standing before a gateway that has witnessed revolutions, reunifications, and countless stories of resilience. The Brandenburg Gate in Berlin is not just a monument, it's a symbol of Germany's enduring spirit, a bridge between its turbulent past and its thriving present. Berlin, the beating heart of Germany, is a city that refuses to be defined by one era. Instead, it wears its layers of history, creativity, and reinvention like a badge of honor. This is not just a capital, it is a living, breathing museum of Europe's most defining moments, a place where the past collides with the future on every street corner. Welcome to Berlin, a city that will challenge you, inspire you, and leave you breathless. Berlin's journey begins at its most iconic landmark, the Brandenburg Gate. Once a symbol of division during the Cold War, when it stood at the very heart of the Berlin Wall, it has transformed into a beacon of unity and peace. Standing tall at Pariser Platz, with neoclassical columns rising toward the sky, it greets visitors as both a reminder of the past and a vision of a brighter tomorrow. As you stand before it, you can almost hear the echoes of history, the roar of protests, the silence of a divided city, and the cheers of millions when the wall finally came down in 1989. Just a short walk away lies the Reichstag, Germany's parliament building. Its glass dome, designed by architect Norman Foster, is not just a modern masterpiece of architecture but also a symbol of transparency and democracy. Visitors climb its spiraling ramp to gaze out over Berlin, reflecting on how far the city has come. Beneath their feet, laws are debated, policies are shaped, and Germany's future is written. At night, when the dome glows softly under the city lights, it feels like a beacon guiding Germany forward. Berlin's story, however, cannot be told without confronting the shadows of its past. The Berlin Wall Memorial and East Side Gallery stretch across the city, preserving the memory of decades of division. Here, history isn't locked away in books, it's etched into concrete, covered with murals, and told through stories of those who risked everything for freedom. The East Side Gallery, the longest open-air gallery in the world, is a breathtaking canvas of hope, unity, and creativity. Each mural is a reminder that art has the power to heal wounds and bring people together. But Berlin isn't just about remembrance, it's also about reinvention. The city pulses with creativity, its neighborhoods brimming with art, music, and culture. In Mitte, sleek galleries stand beside historic courtyards, while in Kreuzberg, graffiti-splashed walls tell stories of rebellion and resilience. Berlin is a city where underground clubs echo with electronic beats until dawn, where abandoned factories are reborn as art studios, and where every street corner feels like a canvas of possibility. Yet amid the modern chaos, Berlin also invites you to slow down and embrace its cultural treasures. Museum Island, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, sits serenely on the River Spree. Here, 5 world-class museums hold artifacts that span millennia, from the bust of Nefertiti in the Neues Museum to the grandeur of the Pergamon altar. It's a reminder that Berlin is not just a city of the future, but also a guardian of humanity's shared past. As the sun sets, Berlin transforms once again. The city lights up with an energy unlike anywhere else in Europe. Stroll down Unter den Linden, where historic buildings glow softly under streetlights. Cross the river to Alexanderplatz, where the Fernsehturm, Berlin's towering TV tower, pierces the skyline, offering panoramic views of the city below. Or find yourself in a hidden courtyard bar in Prenzlauer Berg, where conversations flow as freely as the drinks, and every stranger feels like a friend. Berlin is not perfect, and it doesn't pretend to be. It is raw, it is honest, and it is constantly evolving. It has been broken and rebuilt, divided and reunited, scarred and celebrated. And that is what makes it so powerful. To walk its streets is to feel the heartbeat of a nation that has faced every challenge with courage and creativity. Berlin doesn't just show you Germany, it shows you the strength of humanity itself. So when you think of Germany, don't just think of castles and forests. Think of Berlin, the city where history and future meet in a never-ending dance, where every wall tells a story, and every sunrise feels like a new beginning. This is where your journey into the wonders of Germany begins. Exploring Munich's mix of royal palaces, beer gardens, Oktoberfest vibes, and the beauty of Marienplatz and Nymphenburg Palace. Imagine a place where fairy tale castles rise above emerald forests, where beer gardens buzz with laughter, and where centuries-old traditions meet modern energy. Welcome to Munich, the proud capital of Bavaria, a city that captures the soul of southern Germany like no other. This isn't just a destination, it's an experience that draws millions each year, a place where every street feels alive with culture, heritage, and celebration. Munich is the heartbeat of Bavaria, and here, you'll discover why it has become one of the most loved cities in all of Europe. At the very center of Munich lies Marienplatz, the city's iconic square. Standing before the neo-Gothic New Town Hall, your eyes are immediately drawn to its towering facade, where intricate stone carvings stretch skyward. Every day, crowds gather to witness the Glockenspiel, a mechanical masterpiece of dancing figures and chiming bells that reenact historic Bavarian tales. The square is alive with energy. Street performers fill the air with music, cafes spill onto cobblestone lanes, and the scent of fresh pretzels drifts through the crowd. Marienplatz is more than a gathering point. It is the stage on which Munich's vibrant life unfolds. Just a short walk away, the grand Frauenkirche rises, with its twin domes dominating the skyline. Bands. The air is thick with the aroma of roasted pork knuckle, sausages, and freshly baked pretzels. It's not just a meal, it's a celebration of life, community, and Bavarian pride. If you happen to visit in late September or early October, Munich transforms into the world stage for Oktoberfest, the largest beer festival on Earth. For 2 weeks, the Theresienwiese grounds erupt with colorful tents, parades, music, and the joyful clinking of millions of beer steins. It's a tradition that began in 1810 as a royal wedding celebration and has since grown into a cultural phenomenon that embodies Bavarian hospitality. To walk through Oktoberfest is to experience Munich at its most exuberant, a city that knows how to celebrate better than anywhere else. Yet, Munich is also a gateway to some of Germany's most enchanting landscapes and castles. Just a short drive away lies Neuschwanstein Castle, perhaps the most famous fairy tale castle in the world. With its soaring turrets and dramatic alpine backdrop, it looks like something straight out of a dream. And indeed, it inspired Walt Disney's Sleeping Beauty castle. King Ludwig II, known as the Mad King, built this fantastical retreat in the 19th century, and today it stands as a symbol of imagination, artistry, and romanticism. Visiting Munich means you're never far from stepping into a real-life fairy tale. Back in the city, Munich also reveals its modern, innovative side. The BMW Welt Museum celebrate Germany's engineering excellence, showcasing sleek vehicles and futuristic designs. Meanwhile, the Olympia Park, built for the 1972 Summer Olympics, remains a hub of sports and recreation, with its sweeping architecture still impressing visitors today. These sites highlight Munich's balance between tradition and progress, heritage and innovation. As night falls, Munich glows with a different kind of magic. Cafes and beer gardens come alive with laughter. The lights of historic buildings shimmer, and the city hums with warmth and charm. Unlike the fast pace of Berlin, Munich invites you to slow down, to savor each moment, to live in harmony with its rhythm. It's a city that doesn't overwhelm it, embraces you. Munich is more than Bavaria's capital, it is its soul. It is where history stands tall, where culture thrives, where nature flows seamlessly into city life, and where traditions are celebrated with open arms. To walk through Munich is to feel the pride of a people who honor their past while embracing the future. And as you leave, one thing is certain: you will carry a piece of its magic with you forever. Traveling through medieval towns like Rothenburg ob der Tauber, Würzburg, and Dinkelsbühl, Germany's fairy tale landscapes brought to life. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine sailing along a river that winds through steep valleys dotted with medieval castles, where vineyards climb sun-drenched hillsides and charming villages line the banks like pearls on a string. This isn't a fantasy, it's the romantic Rhine, one of the most breathtaking regions in all of Germany. Stretching between the cities of Mainz and Koblenz, this legendary stretch of river has inspired poets, painters, and travelers for centuries. It is Germany at its most romantic, where history and nature flow together in perfect harmony. As your journey along the Rhine begins, the scenery quickly transforms into a living postcard. The river twists between cliffs, crowned with ancient castles that seem to rise from the mist. Each fortress tells a story of knights, nobles, and battles long past. The Marksburg Castle, remarkably well preserved since the Middle Ages, stands as a guardian over Braubach. Its towers and battlements whisper tales of medieval power, a reminder that this river was once the lifeline of trade and defense in Europe. Further along, the ruins of Rheinfels Castle Tower above the town of St. Goar, their crumbling walls hinting at the grandeur that once dominated these hills. For centuries, these castles served as both protection and power symbols, and today, they invite us to step back in time and walk in the footsteps of legends. But the Rhine is not only about castles, it is also about the magic of the land itself. The valley is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, celebrated for its blend of natural beauty and cultural significance. The vineyards that blanket the slopes produce some of Germany's finest wines, particularly the crisp and aromatic Riesling. In towns like Rudesheim, wine taverns overflow with music, laughter, and the clinking of glasses. Sitting in one of these traditional Weinstuben, with a glass of golden wine in hand and the sound of folk songs in the background, you feel as though you've stepped into the heart of German hospitality. One of the Rhine's most iconic landmarks is the Lorelei Rock, a steep slate cliff that towers above the narrowest part of the river. According to legend, a beautiful siren once sat atop the rock, singing songs so enchanting that sailors would lose control of their ships and crash upon the rocks below. Even today, as you glide past the Lorelei, the river seems to hold a mysterious energy, as though the legend still lingers in the mist. It's moments like these that remind us the Rhine is not just a river, it is a storybook written in water and stone. The towns along the romantic Rhine each have their own charm, like pearls strung together by the flow of the river. Bavaria, with its half-timbered houses and ivy-draped walls, looks like it was plucked from the pages of a fairy tale. In Boppard, a medieval town with Roman roots, you can still walk along sections of ancient city walls. Koblenz, where the Rhine meets the Moselle River, boasts the impressive Deutsches Eck, or German Corner, where a monumental statue of Emperor William I stands proudly, symbolizing unity. Each stop along the Rhine offers not just history, but a living culture that thrives on tradition, music, and a deep connection to the river. But beyond the valley, another German treasure awaits the city of Cologne. Just north of the romantic Rhine, Cologne stands as one of Germany's most dynamic cities, blending ancient roots with a modern, vibrant spirit. Its crown jewel is the Cologne Cathedral, a Gothic masterpiece that took more than 6 centuries to complete. As you approach the city, its twin spires dominate the skyline, drawing your eyes upward. Step inside, and you'll be awed by soaring arches, intricate stained glass, and a sense of grandeur that few buildings in the world can match. The cathedral is not only a symbol of Cologne, but of resilience. It survived World War II bombings, standing tall as a beacon of endurance and faith. Yet, Cologne isn't just about solemn history. It's also a city of celebration and joy. Known for its lively carnival, one of the largest in Europe, Cologne transforms every February into a festival of color, costumes, music, and laughter. For a week, the city comes alive with parades, dancing, and a spirit of fun that welcomes everyone. And when Carnival ends, the fun doesn't stop. Cologne's old town, with its cozy beer halls, invites visitors to try Kolsch, the city's signature beer, served in tall, slender glasses. Each sip connects you to the city's character, light, refreshing, and full of life. Cologne is also a hub of art and innovation. Its museums showcase everything from ancient Roman artifacts to contemporary masterpieces. The city's riverside promenade bustles with energy, lined with cafes, shops, and music drifting through the air. It's a place where the past and present collide, where Roman ruins sit side by side with modern architecture, creating a vibrant cultural tapestry that feels uniquely alive. As the Rhine winds its way through the valley and onward toward Cologne, it carries with it centuries of history, myth, and culture. To sail this river is to journey through the heart of Germany, to see its castles standing proud, its vineyards stretching wide, and its cities glowing with energy and charm. The romantic Rhine and Cologne remind us why Germany is not only a country of progress and innovation, but also a land of timeless beauty and enduring traditions. A deep dive into Germany's most famous castle, its history, and how it inspired Disney's Magic Kingdom. Imagine stepping into a forest so dense, so enchanting, that it feels like nature itself is weaving stories around you. A place where towering evergreens cast deep shadows, streams sparkle like silver threads, and ancient myths seem to whisper through the trees. This is the Black Forest Schwarzwald, one of Germany's most iconic landscapes, a region where natural beauty and folklore come alive in breathtaking harmony. The Black Forest stretches across the southwestern corner of Germany, bordering France and Switzerland. It's a land of rolling hills, dark pine woods, charming villages, and spa towns that have been drawing visitors for centuries. The moment you arrive, you feel it. This is no ordinary forest. The air is crisp and filled with the scent of pine. The sound of birdsong echoes through the valleys, and the gentle murmur of streams creates a soundtrack of serenity. The Black Forest is more than a destination, it's an escape, a return to a slower, more peaceful way of life. This region is famous worldwide for its deep connection to folklore and fairy tales. The Brothers Grimm, who collected and popularized stories like Hansel and Gretel and Snow White, drew inspiration from forests just like these. It's easy to see why. Walking through the dense woods, with their towering spruce and fir trees, you can almost imagine children leaving a trail of breadcrumbs, or a wicked queen peering into her magic mirror. The forest seems to breathe with imagination, turning every shadow into a story waiting to be told. But beyond its fairy tale aura, the Black Forest is also home to stunning landscapes. The Feldberg, the highest mountain in the region, offers sweeping views that stretch across the Rhine Valley to the Swiss Alps on a clear day. Lakes like Titisee and Schluchsee shimmer under the sun, perfect for boating, swimming, or simply strolling along their shores. In winter, the Black Forest transforms into a snowy wonderland, with ski resorts welcoming visitors eager to glide down its gentle slopes. Each season paints the region in new colors, making it a place of endless discovery. And then there's the food, because no journey through the Black Forest is complete without indulging in its culinary delights. The most famous, of course, is the Black Forest cake, or Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte. Layers of chocolate sponge, whipped cream, cherries, and a splash of cherry schnapps make this dessert irresistible. It's not just a cake, it's a taste of the region's soul. Local smoked ham, known as Schwarzwälder Schinken, is another specialty. Traditionally cured and flavored with pinewood smoke. Pair it with fresh bread and a glass of local wine, and you're experiencing the Black Forest with all your senses. Amid this natural and culinary richness lies a town that has become synonymous with relaxation and elegance: Baden-Baden. Nestled at the northern edge of the Black Forest, this spa town has been a retreat for royalty, artists, and thinkers for over 2,000 years. The Romans first discovered its hot springs, and ever since, people have flocked here to soak in the healing waters. Today, Baden-Baden is one of Europe's most luxurious spa destinations, offering thermal baths that blend ancient traditions with modern comfort. Walking through Baden-Baden feels like stepping into a world of refined charm. The Kurhaus, with its grand columns, hosts elegant events and is surrounded by beautiful gardens. The Lichtenthaler Alley, a tranquil park lined with centuries-old trees, invites peaceful strolls along the Ouse River. Art lovers flock to the Museum Frieder Berde, which showcases modern masterpieces in a striking contemporary building. And for those who love a touch of glamour, the Baden-Baden Casino, once called the most beautiful casino in the world, offers a taste of old-world sophistication. But Baden-Baden is not just about indulgence, it's also about balance. The spa culture here emphasizes well-being, relaxation, and a connection to nature. After a day of exploring the forest trails or breathing in the crisp mountain air, there's nothing quite like sinking into warm thermal waters and letting your cares melt away. It's an experience that has been cherished for centuries and continues to draw travelers from around the world. The Black Forest and Baden-Baden embody two sides of Germany's beauty: the wild and the refined, the mysterious and the luxurious. On one hand, you have the shadowy woods that inspired fairy tales and folklore, where every trail feels like an adventure into the unknown. On the other, you have the elegance of a spa town, where time seems to slow and life is savored moment by moment. Together, they create a destination that speaks to both the heart and the soul. As you wander through this region, you realize that the Black Forest is not just a place on a map, it's an experience that lingers with you. The scent of pine, the taste of cherry cake, the warmth of spa waters, and the magic of stories passed down through generations all come together to create something unforgettable. It's no wonder travelers return again and again, drawn by the promise of peace, beauty, and a touch of enchantment. So, whether you come for the forests or the spas, the legends or the landscapes, the Black Forest and Baden-Baden invite you to slow down, breathe deeply, and immerse yourself in the wonders of Germany's most captivating region. Exploring dense forests, cuckoo clocks, scenic trails, spa towns like Baden-Baden, and folklore of the Schwarzwald. What if I told you that the world's most famous fairy tale castle is not in a storybook, but standing high above the Bavarian Alps, its towers piercing the sky, wrapped in mist and magic? This is Neuschwanstein Castle, the crown jewel of Bavaria, a dream built in stone by a king who refused to live in reality. It's a place so enchanting that Walt Disney used it as the inspiration for Sleeping Beauty's castle. But Neuschwanstein is not just beautiful, it's a window into the fascinating mind of King Ludwig II and a symbol of Bavaria's timeless charm. To reach this masterpiece, you journey through Bavaria's stunning landscapes, rolling green meadows, sparkling alpine lakes, and snow-capped peaks. As you approach the small village of Hohenschwangau, the castle suddenly comes into view, perched dramatically on a rugged hill. From a distance, it looks almost unreal, its towers reaching for the heavens, its white walls glowing against the mountains. It feels like stepping into a dream, where fantasy and reality collide. Neuschwanstein was commissioned in the 19th century by King Ludwig II, often called the Mad King, or Swan King. But perhaps he was not mad at all, just a visionary too extravagant for his time. Obsessed with art, mythology, and Wagnerian opera, Ludwig poured his imagination into creating a castle that was less a fortress and more a monument to beauty. Construction began in 1869, but Ludwig would never see it completed. He died mysteriously in 1886, and Neuschwanstein became his unfinished masterpiece. Today, it stands as one of the most visited castles in the world, drawing millions each year. Step inside, and the magic deepens. The interiors are lavish, dripping with romantic detail. Chandeliers sparkle above gilded halls, and murals depict scenes from Wagner's opera's heroes, swans, and mystical legends painted with breathtaking artistry. The throne room, though it never received its throne, is a sight to behold. A grand chamber with Byzantine-style mosaics and towering columns. The Singers' Hall, decorated with vibrant frescoes, was intended for performances that Ludwig never lived to hear. Every corner of the castle whispers of dreams unfulfilled, of a king who built his fantasy but could not escape reality. But Neuschwanstein is more than stone and frescoes. It's a castle that commands its landscape. Step out onto Marienbrücke, the Queen Mary's Bridge, and you'll see why this place is the very definition of breathtaking. From here, the castle looks as if it's floating above the valley, with the rugged Alps rising behind it and the turquoise waters of Alpsee Lake shimmering below. It's a view so perfect it feels painted, one that leaves you standing in silence, overwhelmed by the sheer beauty of it all. And yet, Neuschwanstein is not alone in Bavaria's story. The region is filled with cultural gems that add depth to its fairy tale charm. Munich, Bavaria's capital, is a city where tradition and modern life blend effortlessly. Stroll through Marienplatz and watch the Glockenspiel in the new town hall come to life with its dancing figurines. Visit the Hofbräuhaus, the world's most famous beer hall, and raise a stein to centuries of Bavarian brewing heritage. And of course, if you arrive in autumn, you'll witness the world's largest folk festival, Oktoberfest, where laughter, music, and camaraderie fill the air. Beyond the cities, Bavaria's landscapes are nothing short of spectacular. The Bavarian Alps, with their jagged peaks and alpine meadows, invite hikers, skiers, and dreamers alike. The romantic road winds through medieval towns like Rothenburg ob der Tauber, a perfectly preserved jewel where cobblestone streets and half-timbered houses feel frozen in time. And then there are the lakes. Königssee, with its emerald waters surrounded by cliffs, is often called Germany's most beautiful lake. Take a boat across its still surface, and you'll hear the haunting echo of a trumpet bouncing back from the mountains, a sound so pure it chills you to the bone. Bavaria is also a region of living traditions. From the sound of alphorns echoing through valleys, to the sight of villagers wearing dirndls and lederhosen during festivals, it's a place where heritage isn't just preserved, it's celebrated. The food adds yet another layer of warmth. Hearty pretzels, savory sausages, roasted pork, and of course, the golden glory of Bavarian beer. It's comfort food, soul food, and celebration food all at once. Best enjoyed in the company of others, under the open sky, or in a bustling beer garden. But at the heart of it all stands Neuschwanstein, timeless, mesmerizing, and unforgettable. It is more than a castle. It is Ludwig's dream, carved into stone. A vision of beauty that transcends time and place. As you leave, the image of its towers lingers in your mind, like a story you can't stop telling yourself. That is the power of Bavaria. It invites you to believe in fairy tales again, to see the world not just as it is, but as it could be, full of wonder, imagination, and magic. So when you think of Germany, think of Bavaria, the land of castles and legends, of alpine beauty and timeless traditions. And let Neuschwanstein be your guide, a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary journeys begin in the heart of a dream. A breathtaking journey along the Rhine River with castles, vineyards, and charming towns like Bacharach and Rudesheim. Imagine driving along a road where every turn reveals a new story, a medieval town frozen in time, a castle perched on a hill, or a vineyard stretching across golden valleys. This is not just a road trip. This is Germany's romantic road, a legendary journey through the heart of Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg, where history, culture, and fairy tale beauty blend into an unforgettable experience. If Germany is a treasure chest, then the romantic road is the golden key that unlocks it. Stretching nearly 350 kilometers from Würzburg in the north to Füssen in the south, this route is one of the most famous scenic drives in Europe. But it's more than a line on a map. It's a living tapestry of Germany's heritage, dotted with half-timbered towns, fortified walls, gothic cathedrals, and cobblestone squares. The journey is not just about reaching a destination, it's about immersing yourself in a world where time slows down and every stop feels like stepping into another century. The adventure begins in Würzburg, a city known for its Baroque splendor and fine wine. Here, the Würzburg residence, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, stands as a masterpiece of architecture. Its grand staircase, ornate frescoes, and lavish halls make it one of the most impressive palaces in Germany. The vineyards surrounding the city remind you that Würzburg is also the capital of Franconian wine. A sip of its crisp white Sylvaner is the perfect way to toast the beginning of your romantic road journey. As you travel south, the road winds through a series of towns that feel like storybook illustrations. One of the highlights is Rothenburg ob der Tauber, perhaps the most famous medieval town in Germany. Walking through its fortified gates, you're instantly transported back to the Middle Ages. The narrow streets are lined with half-timbered houses, colorful facades, and quaint shops that seem untouched by time. At night, the town offers something truly magical: the Night Watchman's Tour. Lantern in hand, the guide leads you through Rothenburg's darkened streets, weaving tales of history, battles, and legends that make the stones beneath your feet come alive. Further along the road lies Dinkelsbühl, another jewel of medieval Germany. Unlike many towns, Dinkelsbühl was never destroyed by war, making it one of the best preserved historic towns in the country. Its 16 towers, city walls, and the majestic St. George's Minster create a skyline straight out of a medieval manuscript. The town celebrates its history every summer with the Kindersäck Festival, where children parade through the streets dressed in historical costumes, reenacting the town's rescue from Swedish forces in the 30 Years' War. Then comes Nördlingen, a town with a story unlike any other. Built inside a massive meteor crater formed 15 million years ago, Nördlingen is one of only a few towns in the world with such a unique origin. From the top of St. George's Church Tower, known as Daniel, you can look out across the perfectly circular town and see the ancient rim of the crater surrounding it. Walking along its intact medieval wall, one of only 3 complete town walls still standing in Germany, you truly feel as if history is embracing you from all sides. The Romantic Road is not just about towns, but also the landscapes in between. Rolling hills, peaceful rivers, and fields dotted with wildflowers create a rhythm of serenity as you move from one stop to the next. Traditional inns welcome travelers with hearty German dishes: schnitzel, sauerbraten, and dumplings served alongside local beer or wine. Every meal feels like part of the journey, adding warmth and flavor to the adventure. Further south, the road leads you to Augsburg, one of Germany's oldest cities. Founded by the Romans over 2,000 years ago, Augsburg thrived as a Renaissance center of art and trade. The city's grand fountains, Renaissance buildings, and the world-famous Fuggerei, the oldest social housing complex still in use, speak of a city that was once at the center of Europe's wealth and culture. It's a reminder that the Romantic Road is also a journey through the layers of European history, from ancient Rome to the medieval guilds, to the age of emperors and merchants. As you near the southern end of the Romantic Road, the scenery shifts dramatically. The rolling hills give way to the towering peaks of the Bavarian Alps. Here, the journey culminates in Füssen, a charming alpine town surrounded by lakes and mountains. And just above it, perched high on a rugged hill, stands the crown jewel of Bavaria, Neuschwanstein Castle, which we explored in the last chapter. The Romantic Road and Neuschwanstein together form the perfect ending, like the closing chapter of a fairy tale that leaves you with a sense of wonder. But perhaps the greatest beauty of the Romantic Road lies not just in the towns or castles, but in the feeling it leaves behind. It is the sense of timelessness you feel as you walk ancient streets. It is the joy of watching the sunset over half-timbered houses. It is the sound of church bells echoing through valleys and the laughter of people gathered in a village square. The Romantic Road is not simply a route. It's an experience that invites you to slow down, to savor every moment, and to discover the soul of Germany one town at a time. So when you travel the Romantic Road, remember, it's not just about the miles you cover, but the centuries you travel through, the stories you collect, and the memories that linger long after the journey ends. Germany's port city maritime history, Speicherstadt warehouse district, Elbphilharmonie, and canals rivaling Venice. Close your eyes and imagine drifting down a wide, sparkling river, flanked on both sides by steep, vineyard-covered hills. Ancient castles crown the ridges above, their towers rising like watchful sentinels. Villages of half-timbered houses dot the banks, their church spires piercing the sky, while the air carries the scent of wine and history. This is the Rhine Valley, one of the most romantic and legendary landscapes in Germany, where every bend of the river feels like stepping into a storybook. If there is one place that captures the very heart of German tradition, beauty, and legend, it is here, along the mighty Rhine. The Rhine River has always been more than just water flowing toward the sea. It has been the lifeline of Europe for centuries. Stretching over 200 kilometers, it links Switzerland, Germany, France, and the Netherlands. But the most magical section lies between the towns of Bingen and Koblenz. This stretch, known as the Upper Middle Rhine Valley, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, celebrated for its dramatic landscapes and extraordinary concentration of castles. More than 40 castles and fortresses, built between the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, still stand here, each one whispering stories of knights, emperors, and river lords. One of the most famous landmarks of the valley is the Lorelei Rock, rising 132 meters above the river. This slate cliff is shrouded in myth and mystery. Legend tells of a beautiful siren named Lorelei, who sat atop the rock, combing her golden hair and singing songs so enchanting that sailors would lose control of their ships, crashing into the rocks below. Standing by the river today, you can almost hear her haunting song carried on the wind. It is this blend of natural majesty and folklore that gives the Rhine Valley its timeless allure. As you travel along the river, castles appear one after another like pearls on a necklace. Marksburg Castle is one of the few that has never been destroyed. Perched high above the town of Braubach, its walls and towers remain almost exactly as they were in medieval times. Walking through its great hall, climbing its towers, and peering into its dungeons is like stepping directly into the 12th century. Nearby lies Rheinfels Castle, once the most powerful fortress on the Rhine. Though now a romantic ruin, its vast size hints at the might it once commanded. Exploring its tunnels and crumbling walls, you can feel the echoes of centuries past. But the Rhine is not only about castles, it is also about wine. The steep hillsides of the valley are covered with terraced vineyards that have produced some of the world's finest Rieslings for generations. Towns like Rudesheim and Bacharach are famous for their wine culture, offering cozy taverns where you can sip a glass of crisp, aromatic white wine while listening to traditional German music. A stroll through these towns reveals narrow lanes, flower-decked balconies, and centuries-old inns where the warmth of hospitality is as rich as the flavor of the wine. Perhaps one of the most magical ways to experience the Rhine is by river cruise. Gliding along the calm waters, with castles rising on the hills and vineyards reflecting in the river, is like watching history unfold before your eyes. Each bend reveals a new surprise, a ruined fortress clinging to a cliff, a tiny chapel perched above the water, or a village where time seems to stand still. The sight of the sun setting over the Rhine, painting the river gold and the castles in silhouette, is one of those rare moments that etches itself into memory forever. At the northern end of this valley lies Koblenz, where the Rhine meets the Moselle. Here, at the Deutsches Eck, Germany's corner, an enormous statue of Emperor Wilhelm I stands proudly at the confluence of the rivers. The view from the Ehrenbreitstein fortress, towering above the city, offers a breathtaking panorama of both rivers winding their way through the landscape, dotted with villages and castles as far as the eye can see. It's a reminder of the Rhine's role not just in shaping the land, but also in shaping the very identity of Germany. The Rhine Valley has also inspired countless artists, poets, and composers. The Romantic poets of the 19th century wrote verses about its landscapes, while painters captured its beauty in sweeping panoramas. Even composers like Richard Wagner and Robert Schumann drew inspiration from its legends and atmosphere. To travel the Rhine is not only to see history, it is to feel art, music, and imagination woven into the very fabric of the landscape. But perhaps the greatest magic of the Rhine Valley lies in the way it blends the grand with the intimate. Yes, there are towering castles and sweeping vistas, but there are also quiet moments sitting at a riverside cafe, listening to church bells echo across the water, or watching fishermen cast their nets as they have for centuries. It is a place that invites both wonder and peace, where the stories of kings and knights mix with the everyday lives of people who have called this valley home for generations. The Rhine is not just a river, it is a legend, a poem, and a living museum. To journey through its valley is to walk through the soul of Germany, where history, nature, and culture flow together in perfect harmony. And as the river continues its eternal journey toward the sea, it carries with it the stories of the past, reminding us that some places are not just destinations, they are experiences that stay with us forever. A story of resilience, Dresden's destruction and rebirth, showcasing Zwinger Palace, Frauenkirche, and the Elbe River skyline. Imagine stepping into a world where towering evergreens stretch endlessly into the sky, their dark canopies casting mysterious shadows across mossy paths. The air is cool and fragrant, carrying the earthy scent of pine and the distant sound of rushing streams. This is not just any forest, it is the legendary Black Forest, or Schwarzwald, a region in southwestern Germany that feels like the birthplace of fairy tales. Here, myths, traditions, and natural wonders intertwine, making it one of the most enchanting destinations in the country. The Black Forest has always been shrouded in mystery, dense, dark, and vast. It inspired countless legends and folklore, including the Brothers Grimm tales that many of us grew up with, stories of Hansel and Gretel, Sleeping Beauty, and Little Red Riding Hood. Walking among its trees, it is easy to see why this place fired the imagination of storytellers. The forest seems alive with secrets. Ancient pines and firs whisper in the wind, trails twist deeper into the unknown, and hidden villages appear suddenly as if conjured from a dream. This region is not only about legends, it is a paradise for nature lovers. Covering over 60 square kilometers, the Black Forest offers a stunning variety of landscapes. Rolling hills and deep valleys alternate with sparkling lakes, tumbling waterfalls, and alpine meadows filled with wildflowers in summer. In winter, snow blankets the peaks, transforming the forest into a wonderland for skiing and snowshoeing. At its highest point, Feldberg Mountain rises 493 meters above sea level, offering breathtaking panoramic views of the forest and even glimpses of the Alps on a clear day. But the Black Forest is not just wilderness, it is also a land of traditions and charming towns. Triberg, for example, is famous for its waterfalls, which cascade down a series of dramatic drops, making them some of the highest in Germany. It is also the birthplace of one of the country's most iconic cultural treasures, the cuckoo clock. Crafted with intricate wood carvings and delicate mechanics, these clocks have been made here for centuries, each one a small work of art that reflects the forest's deep-rooted craftsmanship. Not far away lies Baden-Baden, a town that has long been synonymous with luxury and relaxation. Nestled at the edge of the Black Forest, it became famous in the 19th century as Europe's spa capital, drawing royalty, artists, and aristocrats from across the continent. Its thermal baths, fed by hot springs, are still a highlight today. Soaking in the warm, mineral-rich waters of Friedrichsbad or Caracalla Spa is more than just a moment of relaxation. It is a ritual that connects you to centuries of healing tradition. The town itself is a picture of elegance, with its grand casino, flower-filled parks, and stately architecture creating an atmosphere of timeless sophistication. The Black Forest is also renowned for its cuisine. Perhaps the most famous export is Black Forest cake, or Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte. Layers of chocolate sponge, whipped cream, cherries, and a dash of cherry brandy create a dessert as rich and indulgent as the forest itself. Pair it with a cup of strong German coffee in a rustic cafe, and you have the perfect taste of this region. Local specialties also include hearty dishes like smoked ham, potato dumplings, and schnapps made from forest fruits, all of which reflect the flavors of the land. Beyond food and luxury, the Black Forest is also a place where tradition thrives. Villages like Gutasch and St. Mergen preserve folk customs, with locals still wearing the traditional Ballenhut hat adorned with giant red or black pom-poms on special occasions. Seasonal festivals celebrate harvests, music, and crafts, offering visitors a glimpse into the cultural heart of the region. The open-air museum in Gutasch, Volksbauernhof, brings this heritage to life, with historic farmhouses, mills, and workshops showing how people once lived and worked here. For outdoor adventurers, the Black Forest offers endless possibilities. Hundreds of hiking and cycling trails wind through the region, from gentle paths along streams to challenging climbs through mountain passes. The Schwarzwald Hochstrasse, or Black Forest High Road, is one of the most scenic drives in Germany, offering sweeping views over the forest, lakes, and distant valleys. And if you crave something more serene, Lake Titusee provides a peaceful escape where you can paddle across crystal-clear waters surrounded by towering trees. What makes the Black Forest so captivating is the way it blends the mystical with the everyday. It is a place where fairy tales seem to come alive, where nature and culture merge seamlessly, and where every village and valley has its own story to tell. Whether you are hiking under the ancient pines, savoring a slice of cake in a mountain cafe, or soaking in the healing waters of Baden-Baden, you cannot help but feel the timeless magic that lingers in the air. The Black Forest is not simply a destination, it is an experience, a journey into both the natural and cultural soul of Germany. Here, the spirit of folklore still dances among the trees, and the beauty of the landscape invites you to slow down, breathe deeply, and lose yourself in a world that feels both ancient and eternal. In the heart of the Schwarzwald, you are not just visiting a forest, you are stepping into a living legend. The iconic Cologne Cathedral, vibrant carnival culture, chocolate museum, and Rhine River cruises. Imagine a castle so magical that it looks like it was pulled straight from a fairy tale, perched high on a rugged hill, surrounded by the snow-capped Bavarian Alps. Its turrets pierce the sky, its white stone walls gleam in the sunlight, and mist often curls around its towers like a dream. This is Neuschwanstein Castle, the most iconic landmark in Germany and one of the most famous castles in the entire world. Built in the 19th century, it has captured the imagination of millions, inspiring artists, filmmakers, and even Walt Disney himself. But the story of this castle is far more complex than just beauty. It is the story of a dreamer king, a world of fantasy, and the eternal allure of Bavaria. To understand Neuschwanstein, you first have to know about King Ludwig II of Bavaria, often called the fairy tale king. Ludwig was no ordinary monarch. He despised politics and longed instead for beauty, solitude, and the arts. Obsessed with medieval legends, operas, and stories of knights and heroes, he sought to create a place where imagination could take form in stone. That vision became Neuschwanstein, a castle designed not for defense, as castles of the past had been, but as a romantic retreat, a stage set for a king who wanted to live inside a fantasy. Construction began in 1869, but Ludwig's dream was so ambitious that the castle was never fully completed. Still, what stands today is breathtaking. The castle's architecture is a blend of Romanesque revival, Gothic revival, and medieval influences, all wrapped together in a fairy tale vision. From the outside, its towers, balconies, and pointed arches rise against the dramatic backdrop of the Alps, creating a view so picturesque that it almost seems unreal. Inside, the splendor continues with grand halls, golden chandeliers, and murals depicting Wagnerian operas, German myths, and scenes of heroism and romance. The throne hall is one of the most stunning rooms, designed to resemble a Byzantine church, with golden mosaics that shimmer like sunlight on water. Then there is the Singers' Hall, decorated with frescoes from medieval legends, where Ludwig imagined performances of music and theater. But perhaps the most intimate and telling space is Ludwig's bedroom, with its ornately carved wooden canopy bed and decorations that reflect his love for medieval chivalry. It is here that the line between dream and reality truly blurs, showing us the king's longing for a world that no longer existed. What makes Neuschwanstein even more fascinating is its setting. The castle overlooks the village of Hohenschwangau and stands between two shimmering lakes, Alpsee and Schwansee, surrounded by green meadows and forested hills. In the distance, the rugged peaks of the Alps rise dramatically, creating one of the most enchanting landscapes in Europe. It is no wonder that visitors from around the world travel here to stand in awe of its beauty. But Neuschwanstein is more than a monument to a dreamer, it is also a symbol of tragedy. King Ludwig II lived much of his life in isolation, retreating into his castles and fantasies, while Bavaria struggled with the realities of the 19th century. His extravagant building projects drained the royal finances, and his ministers eventually declared him insane. He was deposed in 1886 and mysteriously drowned in a lake shortly after, under circumstances that remain unsolved to this day. His death only deepened the myth surrounding him and his beloved Neuschwanstein, cementing both in history as figures of mystery and romance. Today, Neuschwanstein is one of the most visited castles in the world, drawing nearly 1.5 million visitors every year. Its silhouette has become an icon, appearing in countless films, photographs, and even serving as the model for Disney's Sleeping Beauty castle. Yet, despite its fame, standing before it in person is a humbling experience. The sheer scale, the beauty of its design, and the magic of its surroundings cannot be captured by any photograph. The journey to the castle is an adventure in itself. Visitors must make their way up winding mountain paths, either on foot, by horse-drawn carriage, or by shuttle bus. Along the way, breathtaking views open up across the valleys and lakes below. Perhaps the most famous vantage point is the Marienbrücke, or Mary's Bridge, a suspension bridge that stretches across a gorge. From here, you get the most iconic view of Neuschwanstein, perched like a dream above the forest, with waterfalls cascading below and the mountains stretching endlessly behind. While Neuschwanstein is the crown jewel, Bavaria itself is equally enchanting. The surrounding region is dotted with picturesque villages, alpine meadows, and other castles, including Hohenschwangau, where Ludwig spent much of his childhood. Traditional Bavarian culture is alive here, with locals wearing dirndls and lederhosen during festivals, music echoing from beer gardens, and hearty dishes like schnitzel, sausages, and pretzels served with foaming mugs of beer. It is a place where fairy tales seem woven into daily life, where the old world lingers in the traditions, architecture, and hospitality of the people. Neuschwanstein Castle is not just a monument of stone and imagination, it is a reflection of humanity's eternal longing for beauty, fantasy, and escape. It reminds us that even in a world defined by politics, money, and reality, there is always room for dreams. And in Bavaria, those dreams do not just live in stories, they stand proudly, carved into the mountains, echoing through time like a legend that refuses to fade. Visiting Neuschwanstein is more than seeing a castle, it is stepping into the heart of a dreamer, a king who lived for beauty, and a land where fairy tales feel real. It is the magic of Germany distilled into one breathtaking sight, a reminder that sometimes fantasy can be just as powerful as reality. Closing chapter tying together Germany's history, innovation, culture, and breathtaking landscapes, ending with an emotional reflection to inspire travelers. Close your eyes and imagine the salty breeze of the sea brushing against your face, the cry of gulls echoing overhead, and the sight of ships gently swaying in the harbor. This is northern Germany, a region where centuries of maritime history, trade, and culture blend with modern energy, where ancient port cities meet the endless horizon of the North and Baltic Seas. If the south of Germany is defined by fairy tale castles and mountains, the north is shaped by the sea, its ports, and the centuries of stories carried on its waves. At the heart of this maritime world stands Hamburg, the gateway to the world. Hamburg is not just a city, it is a powerhouse of history, trade, and culture. Built on the River Elbe, it has long been one of Europe's most important ports, a hub of the Hanseatic League in the Middle Ages, and today, the second busiest port on the continent. As you walk through Hamburg, you immediately feel the pulse of a city that thrives on both tradition and modernity. The Speicherstadt, Hamburg's historic warehouse district, is the largest of its kind in the world. Towering red brick buildings, crossed by canals and bridges, create a maze that feels like stepping back in time. By day, sunlight glitters off the water, and by night, the district glows with golden light, making it one of the most atmospheric places in Germany. Next to the Speicherstadt rises the Elbphilharmonie, Hamburg's striking concert hall and a modern architectural masterpiece. Its glass waves seem to float above the old harbor buildings, a symbol of how this city embraces the future while honoring its past. Inside, some of the best acoustics in the world bring music to life, making it not just a concert hall, but a cultural landmark for Germany and the world. Yet Hamburg is not only about architecture, it is about life by the water. The Landungsbrücken, or St. Pauli piers, bustle with ferries, cargo ships, and cruise liners. From here, visitors can embark on a harbor tour, gliding past massive container ships, sleek yachts, and historic vessels that speak of Hamburg's long maritime tradition. Along the waterfront, lively fish markets, cafes, and restaurants serve fresh seafood and traditional dishes, where locals and travelers alike gather to taste the essence of northern Germany. Hamburg also has a reputation for its nightlife, with the Reeperbahn in the St. Pauli district being one of the most famous entertainment streets in Europe. Once the haunt of sailors, today it is filled with music clubs, theaters, and bars, giving the city a vibrant and sometimes wild energy. But beneath the modern pulse lies a city deeply rooted in history, where the Hanseatic spirit still lingers in its architecture, its pride, and its people. From Hamburg, our journey takes us east to Lübeck, once the proud capital of the Hanseatic League, a medieval trading network that dominated northern Europe for centuries. Lübeck's Old Town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a gem of Gothic architecture. The Holsten Tor, a massive brick gate with its two round towers, stands as the iconic symbol of the city. Inside the old town, narrow streets lined with gabled houses, medieval churches with towering spires, and bustling squares bring the glory of the Hanseatic age to life. Lübeck is also famous for its marzipan, a sweet almond confection that has been perfected here for centuries and remains a treat for visitors from around the world. Walking through Lübeck feels like stepping into a history book, where every brick and stone tells the story of merchants, sailors, and a city that once ruled the seas. It is a place where the medieval spirit lingers, even as modern life flows through its streets and harbor. But northern Germany is not only about cities, it is about the coastline itself. Stretching along the North Sea and the Baltic Sea, the region offers some of the most unique landscapes in Europe. The North Sea coast is famous for the Wadensee, a UNESCO World Heritage Site where the tides transform the landscape every few hours, revealing vast mudflats, tidal channels, and islands that can be reached by foot when the water recedes. It is one of the most extraordinary natural wonders in Europe, teeming with birdlife and marine creatures, a reminder of how dynamic and alive the sea truly is. On the Baltic seaside, charming resort towns like Warnemünde and Kölungsborn offer sandy beaches, historic lighthouses, and elegant seaside promenades. These coastal towns have long been retreats for Germans seeking sea, air, and relaxation, with a tradition of beach chairs, the famous Strandkorb lining the shore, offering comfort and shelter from the wind while you gaze out across the waves. Further north, the islands of Sylt, Rügen, and Usedom offer even more wonders. Rügen, Germany's largest island, is home to the chalk cliffs of Jasmine National Park, where dazzling white cliffs rise sharply above the turquoise Baltic waters. Sylt, with its windswept dunes and long, sandy beaches, has become a haven for both nature lovers and luxury seekers. Each island tells its own story, shaped by the sea, the wind, and the timeless rhythm of the tides. Together, Hamburg, Lübeck, and the northern coast embody a side of Germany that is often overlooked, but no less captivating. Here, history is written not in castles and mountains, but in ships, harbors, and waves. It is the story of merchants who connected worlds, cities that grew from trade, and coastlines that hold both beauty and power. As the sun sets over the northern seas, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, one thing becomes clear: Germany is a land of endless variety. From the fairy tale castles of Bavaria to the Gothic cathedrals of Cologne, from the Black Forest to the bustling port of Hamburg, every corner reveals a new wonder. The North reminds us that Germany is not just a landlocked nation of forests and mountains. It is also a maritime power, shaped by centuries of trade and adventure. To end our journey here, by the sea, is to honor the idea that travel is about horizons, the ones we chase, the ones we discover, and the ones that remind us there is always more to explore. Northern Germany, with its ports, islands, and waves, is a horizon that calls us to keep moving, to keep dreaming, and to keep discovering the wonders of this remarkable land. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels and see you in the next video.